back, everybody. Episode 43. Paul, how are you over there, mate?
Yeah, demoted to seat 4, mate, yeah.
Still here, though.
God, still here. I was nearly at the door, though, mate, to be honest.
We'll keep pushing you. We'll keep pushing you. And welcome back to Chelle. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Your episode hasn't gone out yet as of
No.
recording today, so we'll maybe pause for fanfare and insert how well it's done.
Okay.
But I've watched it. It's a really good episode.
Yep.
Really, really good episode. So looking forward to that.
Thank you.
And a welcome to Cordie.
Thank you.
Welcome to the
Nice
show.
to
How are
be
you?
here. I'm good. Yes.
All the way over from
Manchester.
Manchester way.
Manchester. Yeah. This morning, Urmston to be specific.
Nice.
I did tell him this morning. He was like, "Where's that?"
I don't know.
Trafford Centre way, mate, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Or right outside the Trafford
Yeah.
Centre, isn't
How
it?
big is the Trafford Centre, by the way?
Huge.
I drove past it the other week. I couldn't believe how
Huge.
big it is.
You've never been to the Trafford
I've
Centre?
been to it, yeah, but not for years.
Where do you live?
About 15 minutes away from here, so Wakefield.
So he makes
way.
everybody come over here.
I
basically.
see.
Alex is that kind of...
I don't make everyone come in. The studio's here. I can't pick the studio up and bring it over.
Alex is the old Meadow Hall boy, you know.
Meadow Hell, don't like it.
You probably did at one point, not anymore. The Trafford Centre's just made it deserted, hasn't it, really?
Effectively, yeah. Anyway, we're not here to talk shopping. So Chelle, we'll hand the reins over to you, and you can fire away.
Well, we're going to start with Cordie first, anyway. So, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into your work and why you're so passionate about it?
Yes, into my work. Yeah. So basically, it's all about culture, workplace culture. That's what we're here to kind of really think about inclusion and help organisations to, I guess, make it easy for people to do their best work. And my background. So I guess we all have a backstory in some way, isn't it? And I don't know yours actually, so I'm like interested. But mine is, I grew up in Germany. So.
I was going to say you didn't have a traditional Mancunian accent.
See, this is it. Like people are always like, "What is the accent? Where is she from?" So I grew up in Germany, and my first, where I learned English is basically in Wales, North Wales. So ever so often I meet a person who spots the Welsh twang
Sarah.
in my
Shout out Sarah.
accent. Yeah.
Now you've said it, can hear it. I'll
No,
show
North
off the-
Wales.
Whereabouts in North Wales?
So Anglesey, Llandegfan,
So
little village.
Anna's parents live in Tinnegongle,
Tinnegongle.
just
Where's
outside
that?
of Benlech.
Okay. Yes. Oh God, that is. Yeah. Tinnegongle.
Yeah.
That's the names. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah, we
drive
used
past,
to
and
look at
every time we see a slow sign, we always say a RAF.
Enough. Yeah. I love North Wales. It's a
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
beautiful. Anglesey's a beautiful
spot.
place.
Yeah. So I was there for 12, 13 years. Had all my kids there. They grew up. It was, it's a bit mad.
How
but
nice is
beautiful.
how nice is Chemice Bay?
Yeah. Oh, my favourite, Newborough Beach.
No, it's longer, isn't it?
It's,
And the
And
sand,
the
the
woods.
sand dunes there are amazing.
yeah.
We'll just go. We'll just go.
All right.
I'll leave you guys to it.
Diane. Yeah, I don't speak it, but yeah. My husband speaks fluent Welsh, and my kids used to be trilingual, German, Welsh, and English. But
I
they've lost the
struggle with
Welsh a
English.
little bit now.
It's massive. I think if you can speak a second language, it's huge.
I can't speak
In
it
any
first.
walk of life. If you,
I struggle with English.
it's one thing I'm a bit gutted at that I didn't ever learn a second language. But
And when you're little, it's so easy to do it. So with my kids, I saw it, isn't it? Because you're just immersed in it. So I speak German. When they were little, I spoke German to them. We speak English in the household. And they just went to school. That was medium Welsh. So just picked it up just like that. And you just watch them fly. You know, as an adult, it will take you years because it is quite a complex language.
But someone I used to work with, her husband worked in Germany. He spoke fluent German, and they spoke to her, the daughter, from like when she could speak, like 12, 15 months old. They spoke German, so when she can speak fluent German, she's like 6.
No, that's cool.
It's
it's
pretty
ridiculous,
cool.
isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's good. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
we've detracted this.
Back to the yeah. So basically, I guess our experiences from early life shape us. So I was adopted as a child, which means basically, in a nutshell, I've not met the adoptive person who hasn't got a bit of trauma to go with that, because it's all about attachments and identity, and it's tricky. And when I grew up in a world which was very kind of white dominated, so a small town, picture that in Germany, so there wasn't much diversity going on. My adopted family, I was the only brown face, so I guess for me that meant like when nobody looks like you, there's a lot of judgment, and inclusion, you have to include yourself. Nobody wants to be by themselves. So I got really good to do that, to find ways of connecting with people, to overcome like barriers for inclusion. And it kind of probably sparked my interest to always think about, why do people behave the way they behave? And, why do people do what they do? Sometimes like quite unpleasant stuff, isn't it? And that got me into my career of social work and complex behavioral change, and eventually to kind of recognize that when you're a social worker, what you do effectively is you're trying to create the conditions for people to thrive. So whether that's their family systems or, poverty, discrimination, all of that, and take those skills and move them into business. It's the same thing in leadership. You kind of trying to create the conditions for your team to thrive, with all their quirkiness and backgrounds and past trauma and issues.
So
Really
you
interesting.
sat watching the last episode with Rick. Were you kind of analysing us all there and kind of pieced together? Of
course.
Well, a social worker, always a social worker.
No, you have to.
You can't let go of that. It's
Yeah.
it's
Did you spot any weaknesses in me?
I don't want to do it.
She's like, how long have you got? How long have you got?
I'm a little bit safeguarding. I can't do that to you.
As I said to all the children at the, we had like a church service on a Sunday. I had a. No, it's quite a thing. It is actually. It's a bit of a thing where there's a box on the table, and there's something inside the box, and you ask each and every one of them to open the box and look in it. And basically, what's in the box is a mirror. So what they're seeing is their own reflection. Is how you think of yourself. And my thing, I think Anna and Taylor and Haley were giggling to themselves in the corner. I'm like, what are they giggling at? And what I'd said to the children is that my perception of me is I'm perfect. I'm Mr. Perfect. I'm great. I'm fine.
What was I expecting?
And what that kind of backdrop was everyone should believe they are perfect within themselves, because that's who you are, and you need to believe in yourself before everyone else does. And Anna and Taylor and Haley are giggling in the corner, and they send Nick a message going, "Oh, you never guess what he's done now. He's told himself he's Mr. Perfect to all the kids, without me giving the background to all the children. What I was kind of getting at when you're looking at yourself in the mirror is what you should always believe.
Trying to build self-esteem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mate, absolutely. You should all believe, and I'm sure you agree, that you are the best of who you are. You should always try to be the best of who you are. Anyway, how old was you when you was adopted?
So I was adopted as a baby. So I have no memory on, kind of like no conscious memory on like the separation. And I know it's complicated, and I think people underestimate our need as humans for attachment and connection, and especially in early childhood where you don't have necessarily the cognitive ability to process and make sense of things. And it's complicated for both sides, for the adopters as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's really hard at times because of that loss, because of our need for knowing who we are and identity.
No, I am very much of I love my family history. So and I think most people do, don't they? They love to know who their ancestors are. So have you found that out? Do you know who? Have you?
I have, yeah. So when you're adopted, so you have to wait. So you can't really look for your birth family until you're 18. So then you can, as an adult, ask for access to your files. So I must have been about 19 when I did that and wanted to know. And that was, it's kind of like a bit surreal, because it's a very weird process to go through, when you're like one night I'm out in the club and then I'm like finding my bed and it's just like, whoa.
I mean everyone's watched Long Lost Family, and you try and hope that what they perceive on the show that it is similar to what the journey you've had to go through yourself. But yeah, did you wake up one morning and think that's what I want to do, or was it something, a burning desire that as much as you probably loved the family that have brought you up and adopted you, you were always conscious of wanting to know your ancestors and your history? Was it quite clear from a young age you wanted to do that, or was it just you got to 19 and thought, I can do it?
I have no idea, because I think, do you know what I mean? Like, that's the reality, because a lot of this stuff, I think it's very highly emotionally charged, and you you kind of just do and try and error. I never, when you have like people not knowing that they're adopted and this big reveal moment happens for them, that never was my case because it was obvious. So I always knew that I was different. I could never hide it because the colour of your skin, you can't, do you know what I mean? So I think I always knew that. I always knew there was another part of me. And yeah, there was, I think, just that curiosity, I guess, to really find out what's going on. It's difficult, isn't it? Because rejection is part of it. Because you can't help thinking, why did you do that? Why did you not want me? And I think that is kind of something which, I guess, I have a lot of empathy, which I've always loved about myself. That I kind of was lucky, I guess, to have that predisposition to be, in that curiosity from not blame or not feeling angry, but literally just wanting to know. And I was really lucky that when I reached out and contacted and tried to kind of figure out who my parents are, that they were interested. My biological parents wanted to see me. I've got an adoptive brother. He, it didn't work. It wasn't his story. Do you know what I mean? So I really appreciate that, and I'm super lucky in that respect. That it was a positive story, not easy, but a positive story.
Where are
Really
your birth parents from?
So half Nigerian. So my biological dad, he sadly died now. He passed away the year before last. He was Nigerian, and my mother from Germany. So that's where the mix comes from.
So that was my question. So you was adopted in Germany, but you were born in Germany.
I was born in Germany. Yeah.
So you're German.
Yeah, I am German. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm glad it's had a great. And I mean, condolences about your dad, what a story. Nice, yeah.
It's a story. I think it's the stories which shape us, isn't it? That's why it's important to me.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, culture.
But that's now
matters.
what you're powerfully trying to work towards is that inclusion and
Yeah.
and giving your backstory gives the reason to why
Yeah.
you're here today. Sorry, Chelle, I've took
No,
over.
she answered my next question anyway, because I was going to say, how did your lived experience shape the way that you think about all of this? So we'll move on. So do you think workplaces have forgotten how to be human and kind of deal with all of these different experiences that people have? Obviously, we're not just work, are we? When we come to work, and it's a huge part of our lives, but it's not the only part of our lives.
It feels like that sometimes, isn't it? Workplaces have forgotten to be human. But then I'm thinking, well, actually, humans are workplaces, right? We created work. We are it. So how do we kind of remember that actually whatever a workplace is what we are, it's made up by humans. And we are made up by our past and our past experience. And I think the issue sometimes is that we, like when you have the swing doors of like corporate buildings and you think like, what happens? People go through it. They're normal when they come. They go through it and turn into assholes. And it's like, what is the matter with that door? Do you mean you were okay a minute ago? And I think it's that kind of, that's the issue. We don't show up with everything. We don't show up with our humanity sometimes in workplaces.
They
and
put
I think
on like a different mask or a different
it's
hat
that
on.
weird professional idea.
Yeah.
I don't even like the word professional anymore because of it, because it almost makes us show up like, I don't know who that cardboard version is you're trying to be, but it's weird.
Yeah. We all do it.
Yeah, there's definitely an aspect of it. I'm trying to be more authentic at work.
I think there's levels to it though, isn't there? Because, you can be more professional, but you don't have to be a dick about it. Because a lot of people are, like, they lose that humanity side to it, don't they? So, like, somebody needs to go for a doctor's appointment and stuff, it's like a huge problem. And you just think, well, why?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it's how you define professionalism, isn't it? For me,
Yeah.
You were talking to Rick earlier, what is professionalism? Well, clarity about where we're going with this organisation and what the outputs are. So to me, upside down management, I don't know whether you've come across it. If you haven't, from the Simpsons, it's a great concept. It's what we take on as our organisations. Upside down management, what's the whole purpose? If you're service, your customers are your priority, that's what we are doing. That's everything we do need to make sense for our customers to ensure that they're happy and satisfied with our service and, recommend us to other people. If that's professionalism, I can be me doing that. I don't have to pretend into that kind of professional persona. I can be me, you can be you. We will always be different, but we know what we are going for. We know where, we have clarity about what the outcomes are we are trying to achieve with an organisation.
That's really, really interesting, yeah. So do you think organisations, they award performance like at the expense of well-being? Because I think sometimes that is a huge part of, because I get what you're saying, obviously it's to do with like everything's to do with the customers and stuff, but actually going to work and as you, I think a lot of the issues come from people don't feel like they fit in at work and they can't be themselves at work because of that whole professionalism. Is like you can't actually just go to work and be yourself. And I think here, like in this organisation's one of the only places that I've been able just to be like, oh, I need to go to the doctors, or I need to, like, I don't have to lie about it, or I don't feel like I can't say what I need without feeling like judged or like penalised for it, and that I'm not going to be able to, like I won't get something at work, like for example promotion, because I have to go to the doctors more than other people, if that makes sense.
It totally makes sense. So as an organisation, we fall back to that model of effectively there are three things. There's your well-being, there's relationships, and there's performance. And well-being and relationships almost kind of create the basis for performance. So that framing really helps. So if I look after my colleagues and team's well-being, if I nurture relationships, spending time with people, sitting sometimes in the dark with people, our lives are up and down, not always everything's going smoothly, people have stuff on outside of work.
Absolutely. Sometimes you do need that person to stand there and hold your hand.
That's it. And then performance is almost like it happens by stealth. It just happens. And safety is a big part of it. Like how safe do we feel in a work environment? And I think sometimes it can be really useful to ask that to the team, how safe do you feel in this job? And I mean like physically. So I don't know, we've all done it. Like I've been in work environments where it didn't feel safe. And like when you find yourself going to the toilet to hide, wow. Because that's the only place where at the moment my nervous system can relax, because you are weird, you're looking at me strange.
We had that conversation, didn't we? Yeah.
It so.
You do that to me every day. No, I totally agree. I mean, when I took this role on nearly 12 months ago, I had people saying to me that 6 months, Paul, you won't last longer. Really? It's a poisonous chalice. You won't last longer than 6 months. And I'm not gonna lie to say it wasn't in my head, and I haven't probably worked like that for a long period of time. But then I think there is a turning point where you've got to realise that there is people that support you and will shout about you behind your back, and then there is that other person in the office that appreciates what you're doing. But you don't hear that, but you find out later. And I totally get that thing of trying to fit in, and I think when you're working hard and you're achieving, and someone turns around and tells you that gives you more confidence to deliver without having to hide.
Yeah.
And that will come with performance.
Yeah.
If someone's giving, if I personally believe that, and like you say, it is a lot about customer service and doing it, but trying to be real with that, not
fake customer service. We had the conversation, didn't we?
But by not having to be fake because of the leaders that are giving you the freedom to perform, like you've just touched on, Chelle. I think that's the reason why we're a bit different, because I do believe that we are given the freedom to deliver and keep delivering. And if I have to ask a question 3 or 4 times to Alex, I know he's sat in the car shaking his head, but you'll answer it. Yeah, that's the difference.
I think one of the things that I've tried to do with you is you've got freedom to make a mistake, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And we'll learn from it, and it's not the end of the world. I'd rather you make a decision than not make a decision and a mistake happens. That makes sense.
It's psychological safety, that, isn't it?
I was going to say that, yeah.
Make a mistake without worrying about the consequences.
Yeah, At the start, I didn't think that was the case, but I'm not saying. I came into the role knowing you have people whispering you at 6 months and all the rest of it. But very quickly I realised that that I had that safety net of being trusted to do a job and deliver and be able to be just to be free to make a mistake and touch wood is and that needs to be done across all workforces, not just the one I work in. That touching what Chelle was saying a few minutes ago about
because the stress though affects the relationships, then it affects the performance.
Of course it does, and clients will see that.
Yeah, of course they will. If you feel like you have to restrict yourself at work, I always think with customer service as well, they always prefer like a bit more personality, like a bit of you in it.
Absolutely, yeah.
A lot of people are quite scripted, and you go to places and it's like, oh, hello, sir, and stuff. We had this conversation, didn't we? And I was like, yeah, I'm not saying that.
It's like authenticity, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I don't talk like that. So
phone voice.
If somebody comes in and I'm like, oh, hi, sir, they're immediately going to know that it's fake because that is not how I talk. So.
And that is a certain set of leadership skills, isn't it? Because when you were in the conversation with Rick, it sounds like Adept has really shifted culture.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, one the leadership thing you were saying, and I'm not just brown nosing Alex because he sat there, but yesterday I was on. I've replied to a couple of emails, and he's rang me up.
He's on annual leave,
and he's like, "What are you doing? You're on holiday." And I'm like, Alex, I've done what I needed to do. I've packed all the equipment up from the scout, all the rest of it. I'm just catching up. You know full well what I'm going to do. And he's like, I know, but stop it. Just stop it. Yeah. And he'll tell me that next time on annual leave.
And you'll ignore me.
And I will ignore him. And it's not. That's the good culture. He doesn't want me working when I'm on my rest day and all the rest. And I do it for me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for. I am doing it for, but I'm doing it for me.
I understand that because I'm a bit like, if something's, what I said about the training the other day? Yes. We got all the training emails through and I was like, I'm just going to do it because if I don't, I'm just going to think about it.
I'm not after brownie points. I'm not after.
I have to do it, otherwise I'm going to just sit there and be like, oh, I need to do this.
I haven't changed. I've done this from day one. It's not. I'm not doing it for anything else other than me. And people go, oh, it's not healthy, switch off. It's healthy for me.
Yeah, that's good because then you know yourself. Yeah, I understand.
I guess the challenge is, isn't it, to then be okay.
Yeah.
With
well, that's the good culture because I know I don't need to do it.
Yeah.
But I want to do it. It's not about and again, my director's ringing me up, telling me to put my phone down, stop it. And in fairness, he has grassed me up to my wife before now as well.
And we are all different, isn't it? So, one person, I need to do it that way. Another person, very different. They will not want to do anything on their rest day, and to be okay with that. Difference, I guess that is leadership, where you can work with people who are neurodivergent, have different cultural backgrounds and let them be, because we all have that tendency, I guess, to want everybody to be like us.
And then you make it feel right and wrong, but whereas true inclusion is like, how do you want to do it?
Yeah. And how can I invite somebody into who does it very different and be okay with that difference, We were talking with Rick outside and he was saying, it is hard delegation as a leader because we all have an idea of what like the standard is and how I like things to look. But then you have to let go of that, isn't it? That's the hard bit. If you want to grow people, I have to let go of my idea of perfection and allow them to do it their way, make a mistake, and, cheerlead them along rather than kind of like taking over, I'll do it myself. Or kind of that overcorrection, like of the perfectionist.
Yeah, I'm probably guilty of that.
Yeah, a little bit. I think so Paul transitioned from being a...
do you know what? I think if Danny, who I work with closely, I think he'll tell. I don't deliver anything like that in a negative way, but I am kind of guilty. And I'll pick an email up and go, and Danny, I want to say it like this or whatever, and then I'm halfway through the conversation with him, and I'm probably going like, mate, I'm really sorry, just do it your own way. It's fine. Yeah. If you need me, I'm here. And Alex is laughing over there because I'm kind of like, this.
But it's good that you recognise it, though.
No, I'm not. But it doesn't help me picking the phone and doing it, does it? I'm still doing it. Even though I know in my head of what I'm doing, I still pick the phone and have a conversation.
So this is the moment. So in the leadership development, what we do is exactly that. It's self-awareness, isn't it? That's where it starts. Everything starts with yourself in leadership because That's what you can control. Noticing when that happens, because you know when it happens. You know when it's absolutely, I'm calling you because if I don't do that, you're going off in a direction which is damaging for the business, versus I'm calling you and I'm bloody patronising you along to write an email you can perfectly write in your... You know what I mean? We know the difference
I
in
mean,
our
I don't
body.
think I'm patronising him, but I can't help but pick the phone up and speak to him about whatever we're going to do.
So
That's
the key is, like, our bodies are brilliant tools in helping us to create that little space that we can sit back, take a breath, right? And maybe think about, is that the right thing to do, to pick up the phone or not? And maybe you will after a little moment, or maybe you won't. But that is, to me, like what distinguishes great leadership from average, you know, because you have that, that, you know, that self-regulation and that ability to create that little gap between trigger and response. I really want to, let's wait a moment, just go for a walk, have a cup of tea, whatever we were talking outside.
Do you know what? I have that thing about going for a walk. When I've took the dog for a walk before, I've done something and gone back. We've had this conversation before. I've gone back and then I've picked just like you say, that clear. And it's all about, again, I'm 12 months into this role. You know.
Yeah. I mean, we've had conversations with Paul where something happened and I've lost my head, and then an hour later you'll ring me and I'm like, from there back down to that. It's like, one of the things I've picked up over the last few years is never respond to something with emotion. Just kind of try, come back down, and then try to think about it rationally. Because then you're more likely then to consider the other person's viewpoint rather than just my own feeling wronged. If that
and that's
makes sense.
something you passed on to me, to be fair, because I was probably like that quite a lot, to be honest. Going, what's going on here? And you're like, there's two sides to that story, Paul. Yeah, absolutely.
And in the UK, I think, as coming in as a German, we have got a really great tool that we can use to help with that self-regulation, and that's humour. Because in the UK, people are really open to humour, and like a little bit like that dark humour as well, which I love. But you know, like laughing is effectively like breath work.
Yeah.
So when you come to, you know, for some people it's meditation. I'm not the greatest meditator. My brain is like super fast, so the thought of meditation I find a bit stressful already. But I can call somebody and have a laugh. You know, not to kind of dismiss that something important or bad has happened, but just to kind of, you know, it's the best.
Just nodding over there laughing. we do this weekly.
We did this last week.
We did it last week, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So what does a typical day in your working world look like, Cordie? If there is such a thing.
Well, you know, I like not to. No, I do like the variety. So the typical day is basically we work with organisations. So all our work is kind of business to business, if you like. And, you know, what they call in some industry the wicked problems, they are like our favourite thing. So culture issues, which are really persistent, because my background is basically in social work and complex behavioural change, and it's all about system theory. And that means like culture is like systems, like lots of systems interacting with each other. And when you are the system, whether that's a workplace or a family, it's really hard sometimes to see your own flaws because you're in it. So when it comes to like big culture change of, for example, you know, sometimes it's about psychological safety. You know, people being able, they want their people to kind of show up who, like who they are. Sometimes it can be around neurodivergent affirmative. You know, workplaces want to be neuroaffirmative. They want to create spaces where especially like the spiky brains, you know, like can live and be amazing. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of like where we work with organizations to really think about, okay, what are the blockers? You know, where do you want to be? And how can we tie that into your key performance indicators? Because when it comes to well-being, that element, inclusion, to have it over there in like that area on a Friday afternoon where we all go to yoga, it's not helpful. Do you know what I mean? Because ultimately, it's all great to be relaxed in a yoga session, but what we are trying to do is be, you know, like bring that into meetings, which are really hard, where, you know, maybe, you know, the pressure is really on. That's where we want people to take a breath, not just over there. I'm not dissing yoga, by the way. I love yoga. But you know what I'm saying? It's bringing that into something which is actually part of what makes and shapes your business, so that you have a language and that you have good habits that allow you to say, okay, we've got a good meeting. it's getting really difficult at the moment. We're all a bit under pressure. Shall we call a break? You know, you've got a strength, you are super detail orientated, but now you're flipping into perfectionism, you're overusing your strength. Let's just have a laugh for a moment so you calm down so that we can start with a better baseline. Because when we are in anxiety, stress, overwhelm, we're not at our best.
No.
It's tunnel vision, isn't it, almost?
Yeah, and I think a lot of at work, it's like all the well-being side is in like, you know, a yoga session, or it's all words on LinkedIn, or it's never actually put into practice in meetings, or I guess like in stressful situations where it's actually needed and it's helpful. It's just like, oh yeah, go do yoga, and then 20 minutes later it's like, right, meeting, get in there, like stress again. So,
And we talked about that, isn't it?
Yeah,
when
we
you
did.
were going through like experiences of leadership and where are the really good ones and where are the really bad ones. Leadership creates culture. So investing in your leaders is key. Because sometimes, you know, people come into leadership not because they had a psychology degree and they understand how to shift mindset in people, but because they were technically really skilled.
like good at
So,
the job.
yeah.
And then they
So then
move
they
into
kinda
a management
struggle,
role,
yeah.
and then they're like,
Doesn't-
how do I manage people?
Yeah. Doesn't always transfer to being able to manage effectively.
Yeah.
No.
I was lucky enough last week. I mean, this is by the time this goes out, this was a couple of months ago. But I spoke at the Progressive Leadership Festival last week, and one of the points that I touched on was what we're trying to do now at Adept is catching people doing things right.
Yeah.
And kind of recognising that, and because you know so many people will wait until someone does something wrong and jump on that, whereas we're trying to kind of flip the script on that a little bit. And I mean, we've bared the fruit of it over the last 12 months. I'll die on the hill and I'll go to war with anyone who says that we deliver a poor service, because right now I think security is the best it's ever been in the 10 years of Adept. Cleaning has gone. You know, it was never bad, but it's with the team that we've got now, it's on a real upward, and I think that's just from empowering people.
People are people, aren't they? People will make mistakes, and then it's how we sort of deal with that and work with the client on that mistake for whatever that is. But yeah, of course it all boils down to leadership, and going back to giving people the confidence to make that mistake, and not necessarily ridicule them for making that mistake.
We'll ridicule you a little bit.
Yeah.
Behind closed
Definitely
doors.
leave
So
his
that good
Paul.
humour.
Behind closed doors.
I mean, I wore a denim shirt the other day, but absolutely destroyed.
It was double denim.
I
Should have
look
got matching pants.
I
Yeah,
look good.
double it.
He had denim jeans on as
Oh,
well.
good. I
right.
had dark denim jeans.
Well, that was a joke.
Dark denim jeans. Don't listen to Alex. Just look at him, Chelle.
Okay. That leads nicely into, though, I was going to ask you about your new platform and what it is you're kind of hoping to solve with it, and if you want to tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it all comes from basically giving leaders the skills they need. Because it's not easy. If it was super easy, everybody would be doing it, isn't it? We would all be inclusive.
Everyone would be a great leader.
We will all be great leaders and we'll all lead great teams. It's not that easy, especially when you're really committed to inclusion, you know, when you're really seeing the gaps. And that's what we want to do. We want to work with organisations who do. We want to work with organisations, a bit like what you were saying, we can look at ourselves and say, actually, that wasn't great. And this is where we want to be. And this is the plan of how we get there. And then also investing in people, you know, to invest in leaders and giving them the skills. And there's lots of great training and programs out there. And then, you know, like when you go on a training course and it's like amazing and you come back and then you kind of forget about it.
Or you don't implement it.
You don't implement it because business culture as usual just sweeps
busy,
you
busy,
up.
yeah.
It's hard, isn't it? So that was our thinking, how can technology help with that? Because, you know, when you do sessions and as coaches, like team coaching and stuff like that, people have great insights about themselves. Yeah, I know exactly what it is. I know how it feels for me to go into that hyper mode and what I do and how that's damaging relationships sometimes. But then how do I carry on what I need to do to self-regulate better? So that's where the platform came from. Technology is really good at that. You know, we're all on our phones all the time. It's very positive. It doesn't judge us negatively. If we forget, it's just another friendly reminder. So we have taken that and said, okay, let's use that as our Trojan horse and develop technology, but develop it with the people who are using it. So we went out to recruit people basically who have had life experience, like trauma, who have had, you know, like who are neurodivergent, who are autistic, to think about, okay, what would help, you know, for you to do two things. So we're always thinking about two things, empathy and curiosity, because that's a concept that's manageable as a leader, to, even when people piss you off, how can I still connect to my empathy with myself for being pissed off, but then also with them, because I don't know what's going on, why they acted the way they did, unless I ask. You know, we were talking about that, just asking what is happening for you right now, and then
Yeah, don't
zipping
assume,
it.
don't put words in their mouth, just what's going on?
And
What's
listen.
wrong?
You know, sometimes we see leaders, so they ask the question, but their answer is they don't stop talking. It's like asking that question and really allowing people the space and the time to answer what is going on for you. And that's what the technology does. It gives you tools and little exercises and prompts to self-regulate, find that way of how you notice stress, how you kind of find words. You know, if you're like me, I haven't been taught all the emotions when I went to school. We had happy, sad, pissed off, that was it.
Yeah.
You know, so, do you know what I mean? So you need a bit of help with that. Technology can do that. And equally, technology is brilliant in helping us in terms of asking good questions, you know, like showing up as a coach, because not everybody is a coach or has been on a coaching training, but we can learn and practice and be prompted by asking good questions.
It's also the way of the world now as well, isn't it? It's just going that way, like tech. And
Yeah.
So what is that on like an app or a dashboard or? What?
Yes, it is. So it's an app that we've developed with, you know, like I said, co-produced with users. And it really aligns with, so we are kind of really involved with GMCA and where they're going. So we're part of the Greater Manchester Women and Girls panel, who are very much into, like, you know, equality of workplaces on health for girls and women. So like engineering is a good place because there's not enough girls and women
Rick said that
directed
before.
into that. Yeah.
I mean, we're trying in security, and it is hard. We've got a couple of ladies working for us. I mean, the office is we're quite
70% women in head office.
I kind of, and it's not for a trying week. So since I've been in this role the last 12 months, the amount of CVs I look through and go through, and you're trying to look at. As soon as I see a lady's name, I'm even more trying to, we'll get. It's so difficult.
And there's 500,000 security operatives roughly in the UK, and we're about 10% female.
Okay.
Massively underrepresented.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about this a couple of years ago. One of the, I think, episode 3 of the podcast, and it
doesn't seem to be getting any better.
It's not changed. It's not changed.
And it is, it's the culture, isn't it? And the culture is made up by how we behave. How much do we, even as parents, how much do we encourage women and girls to go down those routes? To even explore that.
I know, because I've said openly before, I don't think I want Violet being a security officer, but Dad was. That is, and it's not a bad career path.
It's good.
I think it is the perception.
Yeah.
It is a good one, yeah. It is just the perception and how people perceive, and it is the fact that it's that male dominated. Maybe it does put a lot of females off sort of applying for these roles.
And I think
I would certainly say, please fucking apply, get on Indeed, apply for Adept. We'll 100%.
And I think there's an appetite for that now in Greater Manchester, certainly, that people are saying, well, actually, we want to be employers who really kind of notice and do something about it. And it's not like changing the world but just little small things.
I mean, we've just changed our interview policy regards to the questions we ask and how we sort of plan our interview process, haven't we? Taylor's done a lot of good work with that.
Yeah, it's very robotic and not inclusive to everyone. And do you know what? It probably still isn't. But I mean, we're trying effectively.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff we can help with, because it's not, when we connect to being humans, we know how to have a conversation. And, effectively, I'm quite radical. I think, like, if you're employing somebody, they obviously basic requirements of qualifications. But other than that, I just need your name and your number, because I want to have a conversation and see whether, first of all, you bring something different, because I like teams where different people come together, because the world is different. And when we put our services out there, the more kind of diversity we have, the more broader our perspectives are on our product and our services, the more we obviously meet the needs of the world, isn't it, we are living in. And there is so much research out there in terms of diverse teams, neurodivergent people in teams. It's 40% in increase in productivity and outputs, do you know what I mean? So it's a no-brainer, but you don't get that necessarily through like the old-fashioned recruitment process, so you need to open yourself up a little bit, I think, to break off those rules.
I mean, I'd love, if I'm going to get called rotten for this, I love just going out for a coffee and having a chat with people about, recruitment and all that kind of...
Well, that's what we...
we met for a
That's
coffee,
how
didn't we,
you
Chelle?
meet great people.
But that's what
I
I
already knew
loved
Chelle,
about...
but
Yeah, we already knew each other,
but how much did we get from that? We sat there, you were a flaming undertaker, I never knew that. You was, weren't you?
Yeah, I used to work in a morgue,
You
yeah.
used to work, I never knew that
An
about you.
undertaker.
Going for a coffee and having a chat. Undertaker.
It's everyone's favourite point about me.
So I am a big believer, and I'm flipping neurodiverse as they come, and I think it's nice just
Neurospicy.
to give...
Neurospicy.
Pardon?
Neurospicy.
Neurospicy, yeah. I just think it's nice to give people an opportunity in a comfortable environment just to have a coffee, you meet the person properly, having a more relaxed
Already
chat
takes
rather
the
than being
wall
of
of
course
stress
it does.
away, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Because when you go in for an interview and you just think, oh my God, what am I going to wear and what do I say? And feels like an exam almost, when really it should be more of like you're just going to show
Yeah, so
who you
Chelle,
are.
I mean, typical example, when you met me for a coffee, you were just coming and you weren't nervous, I reckon, was you, when you came meeting me?
No.
No. But then adding Alex and then Nick coming along, did you feel differently then?
No.
You didn't?
No, but I'm not really that type of person anyway. I think I'm quite... Like, I know who I am.
Yeah, and you came across...
And if you
great
don't
in
like
both.
me, then...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh,
And that's a great
whatever.
attitude to be, yeah. Yeah, it's everyone else's
But
loss
I think
and our
I said
gain.
to... were you not there when I said to Nick when he first came in, but he was late, wasn't he? So I'd already been there a while, and and he was like, oh, you've already got a drink? And I was like, well, if you'd come on time, then you could have got me one.
She did. We were in Starbucks, yeah. Fair.
Like it.
But it's just the way that I am.
Like it.
Well, not everybody's like that, so, you have to make space for those people as well, because it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not valued or would be a great addition to a team. So.
And it's a journey to get there, isn't it? Certainly for me it was, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a journey to get to that point that you know who you are. And, young people, you could dismiss talent because
I think me and Chelle are more alike than we think, I think we are...
God.
in our brain space, I think we are quite alike. And sometimes, people who are too alike don't really get on, but absolutely not. I think.
But I also think because we make space for each other and we are empathetic and we understand each other, and we, gone through our own stuff, like health-wise and things and whatnot. We just work, it just gels. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying about good leadership, good kind of practices with speaking and working with the correct people.
And being curious about each other, isn't it?
Yeah.
To know what you just said, you figured out over a coffee. Well, what's that worth in terms of connection and then working through some difficult times, because if I understand you better and understand where you're coming from and I'm curious, we connect.
Yeah.
And relationships, I mean, like when, you were talking earlier about retention and stuff like that. It's massive, isn't it? When you have gone through a little bit of a crappy period with somebody in your leadership role, the loyalty you get back, do you know what I mean? It's
huge.
It's huge. And if you want to translate that into money, it's huge as well.
Oh, the hidden cost on recruitment is massive. So,
Of course it is, yeah.
Paramount importance to us to get the right people through the door that fit our culture as well.
I think we touched on it in one of the early episodes today. Bums on seats. That's not what we're kind of about anymore, is it?
No, absolutely not.
And I'll die on a hill with anyone, like Alex just said. Recruitment for us at the minute, it's on another scale.
In what way?
And just looking for the right person and, like, using Chelle as an example, having them coffees, honest chats with people, and not just putting someone on a seat because you think they can do a job. It's getting to know that person, having the right interview process, the right CV. You can tell on the CV where someone cares, and be honest. I don't we're living proofs of it. If you're neurodiverse, I don't give a. I just want to know you're going to come in and do a great job and show a client how great you are.
And that sometimes means challenging our own assumptions, isn't it? So, like, one example, like, I loved it. So, a friend of a friend, so she's a mature woman, like a bit older. And there's this thing, isn't it? Like, you become a certain age and people make assumptions about you. In, like, especially maybe females, that you're suddenly not very desirable in the job market. And so she has been a teacher for ages. Didn't work for her anymore. Like, the conditions are becoming, like, really tricky. And she came out and she works for an estate agent now. And it's absolutely brilliant because she said, oh, you know, I'm not actually selling anything. I just love houses. And I go and show people, you know, ask their question. Basically, I'm kind of just sharing with them how they could live in this beautiful building, you know, like, and that is the beauty of sales, isn't it? That is like the top shot. You're not selling anything. You're just giving somebody an experience. And before you know it, they're bought into it. Yeah. So it turns around. So she is now, because they're clocking it, the estate agents, oh, she'd be great in teaching our younger staff who are like hard sales. I'm going to say, calm down a little bit. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, just be interested and curious about that person's life and show them how that might match this property kind of thing. Yeah. So it's kind of in a lens, this person could have been like, yeah, we don't employ you, you're too old, you're too this, you're too that. Okay. But if we kind of challenge those assumptions, we can see like fantastic ways of bringing people and giving opportunities to people who might otherwise not have them. Another example is, again, like Timpson's with, you know, employing people who...
ex-criminals.
That have experience of the criminal justice system.
Timpson's have come out and said that now. Yeah, brilliant, yeah.
Because you know that if you had a bit of hardship in your life, and, you know, like certainly I've had my wonder years, these are the people, they become quite robust, resilient, think on their feet, you know, we can kind of like deal with it. Very smart, very kind of adaptable, quite resilient people.
It's just been open-minded, isn't it, to different markets, different people.
It's like we said before about vetting, you know, we get all kinds of alerts for different people that are coming through vetting, and it's managing that risk to the business, isn't it? Yeah. And being empathetic with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, you've answered most of my questions anyway.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, let's go with. So if we go with the future workplace, what changes do you think organisations need to make now to be able to survive?
To be able to survive, I think it's investing in their people and listening to their people, being curious about their people. So when we were chatting outside, you know, like one of your engineers, Rex, he was just saying about like the makeup of engineering, you know, BMS systems and who works there, and what would happen if we were curious about, you know, like what that could look like in the future, more diverse. You know, he was saying there's a lot of overrepresentation of mental health, you know, depression. What if there was more, let's say, I'm making it up now, but, you know, what if there's more women in that industry? Do you know what I mean? People who actually talk about emotions, younger people, you know, who bring a little bit like of that, the Generation Z of, you know, they don't work themselves too hard, isn't it? They know how to play. What if we mix things up slightly? What would happen to workplace culture?
Do you know what? I can use my own personal life for that. I mean, I grew up in the 80s where you never complained about anything. If a teacher at you in school, you never came home and told your dad, because your dad would have just gone wallop as well. You know, so it was quite hardy upbringing. I mean, my parents was absolutely fantastic with the three of us. But this day and age is different. And Violet, my daughter, she struggles with her emotions sometimes. She struggled with school, and kind of, I mean, I have to be open and honest and go, I've struggled to understand Violet at times because that wasn't the way I grew up. But to kind of sit back and just kind of, you know, listen to what Anna's telling me and how, you know, to try and understand and sort of be a better person myself to understand what Violet's going through. It's, you know, we spoke about that, Chelle, didn't we, ages ago, about how different females are to, obviously, the bloke going to school, and how school life for girls can be totally different to me and Alex going grabbing a football and playing a few games with our mates. So I'm still learning. She's 15, Violet, and I'm still learning and trying to, you know, understand when she can't go to school because she just can't go.
Yeah.
And not fly off the handle or.
Yeah. And school is a really, I have, you know, if you look at school in terms of like the system, it's really oppressive. You know, like if I compare like what my kids, I've got 3 girls, right? And I don't know, they can't go to the toilet when they want. They have to have a pass and
So
this and the other. They can't wear what they. It's just imagine you do that in a workplace to an adult. Not now.
Violet said that to us maybe last year. I have to have a pass to go to the
Yeah.
pass to go to the toilet. I used to put my hand up and say, "Turn into the toilet." Yeah, off you go.
Yeah.
I mean, when you said it 2 or 3 times in the same class, your teacher would be like, "Yeah, all right." But you put your hand up in class, what, you go to the bathroom? Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm glad I grew up then and went to school. You know, in the late 80s, early 90s, and was done before all this technology and.
You could escape bullies. You can't now, can you? Because Snapchat and
you used to go
Instagram
home
and stuff.
and it stopped. You go back into school. You go home now and it just carries on the phone, doesn't it? You know.
On the PlayStations or whatever.
And I think, you know, if you think about what's changed, you know, because like I said, I didn't have that many rules in school like they do now. If you think about what's changed, isn't it? It's become stressful. Being a teacher has become stressful. So when humans operate from anxiety and stress and overwhelm, we can't make good decisions. Do you know what I mean? Because as a parent, we know I need to take a breath because what I just want now is probably not going to get me there if I kind of keep, you know, being irate. So it's no different than leadership, isn't it? You have to check in with yourself sometimes, take a step back to be able to decide, okay, that kid, just let them walk away. Just let them have a moment and they'll recover and they'll come back and they'll be all right. You know, and I think that's what we're kind of doing in workplaces.
Yeah, absolutely. And a wise man once said to me, pick your battles.
Yeah.
Which is, when you've got children, is a great bit of advice.
Yeah.
Pick your battles.
Yeah. And if you do that and if you connect with that empathy and say, okay, let me step away because that's not healthy for me because I'm going to have a heart attack in anger. And also, you know, I don't know what's going on for you. I could ask you a question.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll figure out what the problem is. And I think that's why I think the workplace and the space really matters when we were talking, you know, like how people allow you to, you know, what's right and safe for me isn't right and safe for another person. And it's little things as sometimes noise, sometimes light, you know, this whole idea of open plan working. It's not helpful for everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can see it, isn't it? People walking around. There's one type which walks around and it's like talking. They don't get any work done because everything's open plan. I'm overstimulated. I'm having a conversation. I'm having a great day, but nothing gets done. I actually need to go home to function and focus. Do you know what I mean?
That is exactly you. Exactly you.
I was still online now. There's videos, isn't there, where people print off signs and they're like, "Do not talk to me. I need to get work
Social
done."
battery pins and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not me so. Yeah, I mean, I need that shut off. I mean, I've gone home a few times when, you know, and caught up with work and stuff. And again, that's just because I need to do it. That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's enough about me.
So I'm just conscious of time. How can people get in touch with you, Cordie?
Well, we've got a website. So the business is called Coco Operative, and the website is coco-operative.co.uk.
We'll overlay that on the screen now.
Yeah, we'll
I've got
get all the stuff
Put it on the screen.
I might appreciate that. It honestly, so I was asked the other day, like, why did you call the business that? It's like our business. So we are besties. So it's Lynn's and me. We're starting the business in 2020. And
how does Lynn spell her name?
So she's Welsh, Lindsay.
Oh, it's Lindsay.
Lindsay, but
I thought it was Lynn.
Lynn's.
Sorry. Right,
Yeah, to me she's Lynn's. Lins. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So when we were thinking about a name, it led to this endless conversation, and then we had that last bottle of wine. It wasn't. I don't know. It's like
Best
we can't
made
explain
decisions.
where.
Red or white?
Red.
Oh, yeah.
Always red.
See, Alex.
I'm a white.
Always red. You're
Got a
white.
drink.
I mean, to be fair, I do anything will do, but yeah.
Yeah, it's alcoholic.
And push comes to shove, I'll drink white. No, but it's that's our business. I'm on LinkedIn, and it's really kind of like, I think what we want to do and what we're working on at the moment is really working with organisations to develop that platform. So we're looking for learning partners because I think after being a social worker for a long time, I have recognised that actually, I hate to say that in a way, but you can make a bigger difference to people's lives in a way at the moment when you are in a business leader than as a social worker. not for trying, but for social work is really bureaucratic, and it puts you into a square of what you can influence, whilst businesses, you can flex. You've got a lot of freedom, and I've seen it, and I can see it now when we do our work. You know, if like people who are leaving care, if people give opportunities to people with a bit of a quirky background, you know, to maybe, give a shot at somebody who has had a bout of depression or a mental health issue, you can change that person's life. You're changing their family's life because they're amazing people. They just need somebody who sees them for what they bring, you know, and creates an environment that is right for them, you know, where they've got a bit of freedom to be themselves. So that's why I'm so passionate about working with organisations, because I think there's so much good you can do.
Absolutely.
It's been really good. That's it. I've got nothing else.
I've got one favour to ask.
Okay then.
I have got a really stressful Sunday afternoon coming up this weekend. How can I watch what I need to watch on Sunday and remain calm?
Is it football?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So you need to do some breath work, isn't it? You need to have some laughs whilst you're watching it.
I mean, Shelley's dying there, but I'm deadly serious. I'm going to be a nervous wreck.
Get on New Life and do the do the meditation.
I can't meditate.
That's what you call that?
Do the meditation.
You heard it.
Yoga.
Do yoga.
I think. Do you know
Do
what?
I turn the volume down?
No, you don't turn the volume down. I think the biggest thing is like being your body. Because our bodies are the most underused tool we have. You know, like the sensory stuff, like, and you see it, people do stuff like touching something.
We're
Or
like this the whole time we've been talking, haven't we?
You've been what?
it's but it is. It's kind of engaging with your, you know, kids are brilliant at it because they haven't got these restraints we put on ourselves. Movement, like pacing around, like you see people watching the football, isn't it? Pacing. That's all you need to do. Listen to your body and you'll be fine.
That was me last night.
I know him by tea.
Why did you do some sit-ups or something?
I could do with doing sit-ups, to be honest. Thanks for pointing out, Chelle.
Didn't mean it like
Wow. Fat
that.
shaming.
Meant like.
Yeah.
No, I just meant like fitness.
Under a bus.
Fat shaming. Nice way
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
end.
Oh, I'm
Thanks,
not.
Chelle.
Thanks for bobbing in for the 2 episodes. That'll be all. No, Cordie, thank you so much for coming over. We appreciate, obviously, you've travelled a decent way to come and sit and chat with us, and hopefully it's something we can take away offline as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
Yeah,
build
it's been
towards.
really interesting. Aren't you glad that I've met her?
Yeah.
Very much so. Very much so.
No, it's good conversation. Really good conversation.
You have some great people in your organisation. I think, it's really impressive because...
I mean, one thing we've not touched on is, I don't know if you're aware, we've been put forward for good culture by the Good Employment Charter this year.
Yeah.
Oh, Ian MacArthur.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, brilliant.
So we're-
So hopefully we
Big advocates with the Good Employment Charter.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have won a couple of awards previously. Nick won Leader of the Year last year, and we won Best for Engagement and Company of the Year before. So it's been a journey.
Yeah.
Been a journey. I hate saying that, but
It's
yeah,
true.
it's been-
Facts.
yeah, cool.
Right, food now.
Food now, yeah.
I need food.
I told you need to look after your body.
Hungry.
I'm
Give
getting
that girl
hungry.
something to eat.
Right. We'll wrap up there. See you in the next one, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Fab.